What is going on, guys? DBG here. In this video we are going to be doing a tier list of the best Ruby and Amethyst players in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM. So before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We've basically hit all of our sub goals. We're trying to hit 225k as fast as possible. Huge thank you guys for all the support recently. And unfortunately this is going to be the last tier list of the month. But we are going to be right back on January the 1st with a point guard tier list. So we're taking a grand total of 1 day off the tier list, basically because this video will be up, and probably I'd say within about a half an hour of this video being up, I'll probably be live for about 5 or 6 hours, because I am trying big time to get Baron Davis by Saturday's qualifiers. And you better believe it's gonna be we still have a long way to go before getting Baron Davis. As in, I have not even started the spotlights and don't have Drew Holiday yet, so it's gonna be grim. But anyway, yeah, so let's get on to the list. So first of all, Alexey Pokashevsky. I'm gonna go C tier because he's a beast on next gen. He is one of the few players that has super speed on next gen. So there are a few players. If you guys have ever used Shaq Pink Diamond in the next gen, Shaq has got super speed. Pokashevsky's got super speed as well. These aren't guys with 99 speed. These are guys with like 80s, 70s rated speed, but their speed feels like it's 99. I'm telling you, Alexey Pokashevsky he's one of the fastest players in the game. He has some sort of weird, just voodoo magic that makes him run up and down the floor faster than everybody else. He can also tween on next gen. It's the weirdest thing ever. Is this card ain't spectacular? Nope. But will we get an Alexey Pokashevsky card later on in the year? Whether that even be like a diamond card that will be a god? You better believe we will. You better believe we will. Then we got Allen Houston. Offensively, I mean, good. He's still pretty good next gen, so I'm gonna give him B tier. But thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories, Allen. You were one of the most overpowered players in history. Week 1 Allen Houston will go down with Week 1 Mirasan. He'll go down with Goat Yao. September Steph Curry. Pre-dunk patch Zach LaVine 2K15. Pre-stick patch Week 1 Allen Houston will go down forever as one of the greatest cards, most overpowered cards for their time in the history of my team. However, his time's not now. B tier. Then we got Bargnani. I mean, as far as centers go, he's like number 2 that you can get. So, I mean, I'm going to put him S tier, but there's not too many great budget centers. Well, there's not too many great centers at like these tiers. Then we got AK. I mean, I like AK. I really like him on next gen, by the way. He is straight cash from both corners. If you guys watched my 50k squad builder yesterday, like AK literally went and he carried like 3 threes in a row down the stretch. Green. Like, the guy absolutely carried. So for that reason, AK going into B tier right here. Then we got Wiggins. Man, let's put Wiggins in C tier. He's fine. Not great, does a job, but he's objectively C. Then we got Bailey Howell. I mean, do I put Bailey Howell in B or C? I put him B. Good enough defender. Not quite AK, but he's still pretty okay. Bingo. Fully badged out Bingo's S. Bingo is S. Like, we're not talking about budget players. This is just purely diamonds and rubies. Sorry, amethyst and rubies. If we were talking about value, or we were talking budget players like we at the middle of the month, then badges will be taken into account. But I'm just talking about these at their best. And Bingo Smith at his best is a beast, especially on next gen. Boris Diaw, badged out Diaw is that tier above though, isn't he? I got my Diaw badged out with gold quick first step, gold range extender, gold clamps, and a fantastic player who belongs in A tier in my opinion. Then we got Bruce Bowen. I mean, he hits shots and plays defense. Simple as that. Like, he does a job. He does exactly what you need him to do. He's probably upper middle tier, so let's put him B tier. Then we're talking current gen, I'm gonna put him in D tier. Buddy Hield's only a pretty decent shooter. He's like a worse Eric Gordon, but on next gen, he's like a better Eric Gordon. I think he's got, if I'm not mistaken, he's some form of quick first step. He's got decent speed and he's got Kobe base. Kobe base is good on current gen. Trust me, it's good on current gen, but on next gen, it's next level. Not going to put him above C tier, but I think he belongs here. Levert. E. Levert's not very good. His release is decent. He's somewhat usable on next gen. He's unusable current gen, so he's E tier. Actually, is he the worst card of all these? Maybe. Worthless at this stage. Just unfortunate. Then we got Chandler Parsons, worst Hito Turkoglu. I mean, he's big, so let's put him in C tier, but it's not like he does anything. It's not like he really does anything on the floor. Chris Paul. I like this CP3. He plays some defense. He runs the floor a little bit. He passes well. He's B. He belongs in B. However, while he belongs in B, get into S tier Amethyst Cp3. If we somehow mess up and don't get Baron Davis by Saturday, Amethyst Cp3 is going to be in my 250 squad. And he might be in my 250 squad anyway. If I want to run double point guards, Amethyst Cp3 might be in my 250 squad. He is one of the best point guards in the game. Did I overrate him in my top 100 list, putting him at 40 because of his price? Probably, but he's a top 10 point guard in the game, no question about it. No question about it. And the big thing with Chris Paul, you don't need to give him any badges. He is that good off rip. So, S tier. Then we have got Katina Mobley. I mean, he hits wide open well. Oh, C tier, he's good on offense. Lillard, E tier, barely usable. Good next gen though. I'll be the first to admit, Lillard is a beast on next gen. He was like one of my very, very first pickups on next gen when we were going ultra budget. His fade is nice. He's got all the badges that are necessary because he comes with 40 silvers. He's nowhere near as bad as expected. And we got D'Angelo Russell. I mean, S. He's not S if you don't give him clamps. If you do not give D'Angelo Russell clamps, he's A tier. Or he's A or B. Problem is that he can get clamps, he can get interceptor, he can get all the defensive badges. Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, I do not advise anyone to put them on. But the thing is, he can get them, so we gotta judge him accordingly. Really okay on next gen. Good fadeaway. Okay jumper, but you do have to get used to it. But current gen, man, he moves different. He just moves differently on current gen. I'm a big, big fan of this guy in current gen. So, if you guys didn't know, on Christmas Day, I streamed TTO with D'Angelo Russell. And I literally shot every single shot with D'Angelo Russell. And I won something like 19, 20 games. Ridiculous card. The Busher. I mean, he's like slower Bruce Bowen. C tier at this stage. Yeah, he can post spin people, but like at this stage in the game, the post spin meta is kind of dead. The Vice Bertans can hit wide open, and that's about it. D tier, I guess. He's got gold range. Can't do anything else. If he could play center, he could be a niche card, but he's just not. Like, Hito's objectively better than him. Like, Chandler Parsons is objectively better than him. De'Aaron Fox, go get yourself up into S tier. One of my favorite cards in this game. One of my favorite cards in this game. I do not rely as much on contact dunks as most people. Like, the way I play the game, especially because he does tend to go for a few layups, but because I use the stick on layups, they actually go in an awful lot. He's a beast on both gens. I love Paul George base, especially on next gen. So a lot of people aren't going to be as high on Paul George base as I am. So for that reason, he's going into S tier. Yeah, he doesn't get showtime. Yeah, he doesn't get showtime dunks. But for my playstyle, it makes almost no difference. So for me, belongs in S. Then we got Dell. I mean, badged up Dell, one of the best catch and shoot players in the game. He's A tier, base 28, God tier release. Good shooter as well. Dennis Johnson. I get he got half clamps. He don't play offense. E tier. Like, he literally does not play offense. It does not matter that he's got half clamps. Give me Mo Cheeks over him. I didn't use him when I had him at the start. I still don't use him. Dino Raja. Dino. I mean, there's a severe lack of bigs. So, I mean, do I put Dino in? I'll give Dino a B tier. I'll give Dino a B tier. Not a great shooter, but he's got ultra length. He is like the lengthiest player in the game. He is a giant. It does not matter that it says he's only 6'11". His wingspan 7'11". His arms go down to his feet. He's ridiculous. Then we get Doc Rivers. I mean, he was like a must buy at one stage, but at this stage of the game, he doesn't really do anything. He's a weird jumper. Like, he just doesn't do anything. So D tier. Donovan Mitchell getting to S tier. Yeah, I put 4 point guards in here. These 4 guys can compete with the best of them when they're badged up. Range extender, Donovan Mitchell. He's a better dunking De'Aaron Fox, but in my opinion has a worse release, especially on next gen. And is that little bit slower, but again, ridiculously good card. So he's S tier. Doug Christie. I mean, he's just another Bruce Bowen, isn't he? He's just another Bruce Bowen. Maybe you can argue he does a little bit more on the offensive end, but for me, he's just another Bruce Bowen. Eddie Curry. I mean, if we're putting Dino in B tier, I gotta put Eddie Curry in B tier. Eddie Curry can move, lads. He can move. He has borderline Shaq-like super speed on next gen, which is big. And yeah, he only has 67.3. I think Dino's like 69, but he's a big body, runs the floor well, is decent in the post, gets boards. I mean, if I have Dino in B tier, I can't justify putting Eddie Curry any lower. Then we get Eric Gordon, where everybody healed is. Gordon's better current gen, Heald's better next gen, but I think overall, I think they're quite even. Jarrod Wallace. I think Jarrod Wallace is like a step up from a Bruce Bowen. For like 7 KMT, he's an elite defender, base 4, which really good current gen. Okay when you get used to a next gen. You can only really use it off the catch though. But an overall fantastic card, especially on the defensive end. One of the best. And he's definitely an upgrade over a Bruce Bowen or Doug Christie. So for that reason, he's going into A tier. But plays a similar role. Giannis. I mean, I don't like him. Is he objectively C tier? Maybe. Glenn. Basically Eric Gordon without quick first step. D. Glenn can hit wide open. That's about it. Hito. If we're talking next gen, S tier. No question. Next gen, he moves different. He moves different on next gen. We're talking current gen. You might be arguing. Actually, no. Badged up current gen. He's like B, maybe low A. So I'm going to put Hito in A tier, but there's potential. There's potential for him to be moved up to S. Amon Shumpert. I'm sorry, he's a pure defensive point guard. He's like better Chris Paul. I'm going to give him A tier. I'm going to give him A tier. He's really good. I really like this card. Yeah, I don't use him too much because I only got him on my main account, but I think he's really good. Can we get Jimmy Buckets? Jimmy Buckets is... He's A tier. What am I talking about? The guy's A tier. Really nice defender. Curry slide. Good release. Definitely been underrated by a lot of people at this stage. When he's fully badged out, yeah, it costs a lot to badge out, and I don't advise you to do it. But if you can find one of him badged out and you buy it, he's ridiculously good. Then we got Jonathan Isaac. Get into S tier. Get into S tier. Jonathan Isaac is ridiculously good in this game. His jumper is nice and fast. His defense is elite. He plays lanes. He gets boards. He can clamp up the other team's primary ball handler. He's elite on both gens. He's literally, his only problem is that he doesn't have range. That is the only problem that Jonathan Isaac has in this game. But I'm telling you, this card is fantastic. Even for the price. Even for its price and expensive. Expensive Ruby is still a beast. Drew Holiday. Oh, I mean, I got too many point guards here. D'Angelo, you take a step down. I love D'Angelo, so I'm going to give the nod to Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's significantly better in defense. D'Angelo also significantly better on offense, but I'm going to give the nod to Drew. Drew's one of the best defensive point guards in the game. Base 29, great release. I can get range extender. Good speed. He's good. Man, Dr. J sucked in 19. He sucks in 21. This card's so bad. This card is so bad. I had forgotten about how bad this card was until I was making this list. He is so bad. And it's a pity because... I was about to say it's a pity because Dr. J normally is good, but like, they didn't give his pink diamond any of the key badges. They can't give those key badges to the Amethyst. So he's got like no quick first step. He can't shoot. I don't even think he has clamps. He doesn't have anything. He is an absolute garbage man. To be fair though, this card was a garbage man in 2K19 as well. Then we got Cat. Cat's A. Cat's really nice. Give me Bargnani over Cat, but it's a close one. It is a really close one. The Cat's nice. Especially for budget guys. Clay. I'm gonna have to start moving down tiers. There's not that many bad cards left. Clay. I mean, Clay's probably S at this stage. So let's move. You stay. You go down. 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 You stay. Who comes down from here? You go down. Okay, this works a little bit, I guess. And we got Kobe Bryant, C tier. He's just bang. Yeah, he's just bang average. Kobe released, which is great. Chris Stapps, if we're talking next gen, he's S. We're talking current gen, he's like C. So let me give him B. Let me give Chris Stapps Porzingis B. I'm gonna give him the benefit of that. If you can get his release down in current gen, he could be pretty good. But I'm telling you, next gen Porzingis with that Brook Lopez base, oh, he is definitely he's a force to be reckoned with, and definitely a player that I would advise you to try out if you do want someone, if you don't want to pick and pop big on the cheap. We got Korver, another guy that's fantastic next gen, not great current gen, but like, I mean, he doesn't play defense. He's got gold range, and that's it. That's literally it. That's all he has. So D tier. Kyle Lowry. I mean, he's as good as he's better than CP3, I think. I think he belongs here in B tier. I think he's an overall solid card. I don't think he's anything spectacular. I think he's all around solid. Kyrie Irving. He belongs in the same tier. A lot of people would have definitely Kyrie up there with D'Angelo Russell. I'm not the biggest fan of his dribbling. His release is okay though. And overall, he's an overall decent card, especially next gen. Like next gen Kyrie, again, he's a different animal. The lack of good release. Actually, his release isn't even that bad this year. The lack of just like top tier dribbling is what puts Kyrie Irving in here at C or B tier, but it could be easily A. Aldridge, I mean, if Bargnani's A, then Aldridge is. If Bargnani's S, then Aldridge is A. In my opinion, Aldridge is slightly worse Bargnani. Alice, I mean, he does a job. Like C, he's alright. Doesn't do anything great, doesn't do anything bad. Let's put him C tier. Keenan, he's too much of a shooting liability to put him in the top 2 tiers, so let's put him in B tier. Keenan does everything well except shoot. Like, the literal only problem with Larry Keenan in this game is his lack of a jump shot. Like, normally a card that plays like this, I would have in a much lower tier, but he's basically like baby diamond and pink diamond Giannis. Like, the lack of a 3-pointer is the only problem with this card. He's a near perfect card other than that. He's definitely a player that at the time, well, he's definitely a player if you're just starting out the game, you can get him for 1k MT. Try him out, you might like him because he's defensively a beast, but a little bit weak in terms of shooting. Larry Markkinen, this is going to be a controversial one. I'm putting Larry Markkinen in A tier. I think as a pick and pop big with gold range extender, decent rebounding, he's way too underrated for what he is. He can't block shots, but I mean, like, he does a lot of everything that people are talking about Jokic. He's the same release Jokic. You're like, oh yeah, Jokic can shoot from deep. He's somewhat mobile, he rebounds. Basically, that's all of Larry Markkinen. He's basically Jokic without the playmaking. He's a really nice card, and I think he belongs here in A tier. Then we got Mo Spates. I mean, he's a Dino clone, I guess. I haven't used him enough to really judge him too much, so let's just put him in B. I'm not going to quite put him up with these guys, so I haven't used them too much. But let's put him in B. Matisse Thybulle. I mean, he's basically just another Bruce Bowen, isn't he? A little more expensive Bruce Bowen, I guess, so B tier. Michael Cooper, a little bit better Bruce Bowen, A tier. My half quick first step, Michael Cooper at the start of the year was a demigod. I love that card. I had a lot of success with my half quick first step Michael Cooper in first 250, but times have changed. It is currently where we're about to go into January, whereas the last time I used Michael Cooper, it was like September, October. So yeah, it is what it is. Mike Miller. I mean, if Clay is S, Mike Miller's A. He's not that much worse. So I think it's a bronze or silver clamp, silver range, great shot. Dino clone as well, good card. We got Yao Ming. I mean, he's got like 25 speed. And this game, like, really does matter if you can just launch throw aheads. Doesn't matter, post game's not as important as it was last year. He's E tier. Mo Pete. He's not good. He's just straight up not good. It's a pity. Like, he's 2 inches smaller than he was in previous games. It's so much of a pity because he was a god. He was a god. We'll never forget. We will never, ever, ever forget Mo Pete from NBA 2K19. I don't even remember ever using a Mo Peterson in NBA 2K20, but we shall never forget 2K19 Mo Peterson. Never forget that card. But this card sucks. Moe Williams, I mean, fully badged out. The guy's A. The guy's S on current. Sorry, on next gen. The guy on current is A. Really great card. Offensively, a demi. For cheap. Only problem is no clamps. But he's not as good as CP3. He's just not as good as CP3. But offensively, he's right up there. Nick Anderson. I mean, if Clay's up there, Nick Anderson's kind of got to be up there. For like less than 2K, you can't go wrong. And also, next gen, Nick Anderson's the best player on this list. I might have to move. Oh man, badge out bingo is that dude though. And we got. I'm gonna move Bargnani down one because our two big men are gonna be Serge, who I think is just better than Bargnani because he's just overall more mobile and a better catch and shoot player, especially on next gen. Doesn't have range though, and without doubt, Sean Kemp. Like Sean Kemp is playing for me in 250. There is no question about that. Draymond's my starting center. Sean Kemp's my back. Or it all depends. Depends on how I play, how I feel. It's either gonna be Sean Kemp's my backup or Chris Bosh is my backup. Likely gonna have Sean Kemp somewhere there in the squad, just to run, basically just run really, really fast if I need it. So we're probably gonna go an 11 man, but Sean Kemp he's next level. Both gens. His dunking's exceptional. His speed, his defense, he can hit from the corners. Sean Kemp does everything except for play on the perimeter defensively. Yes, it can be a problem, but I'm not anticipating playing against point center Blake too often. Although point center Blake will torch him, but point center Blake will also torch every other center in this list. Paul Silas. I mean, you gotta put him in B. He's a Draymond clone. He's a Draymond clone, good enough release. And yeah, he's just not a spectacular card. Does the job though. Does the job. Rafe LaFrance. I mean, he's like one tier objectively below like a Bargnani, so let's put him in B tier. LaFrance, again, decent card. Does the job. A little bit slow at this stage. Ray Allen, wherever Kyle Korver is. They're basically the same card. Rex Chapman, wherever Eric Gordon is. He's C tier. But everything I said from both of those guys applies to the two of them. Ricky Rubio, this is an interesting one. Badged out Ricky Rubio on next gen or on current gen's A. He has this weird hitch in his jumper, so I definitely wouldn't use Ricky Rubio if you are on next gen. I think he's very, very weak, but if you can manage to find one of him with like range extender, his release is fantastic on current gen. So Ricky Rubio is going in here into A tier. Then we got Sleepy. I think we gotta forget how good Sleepy is. Good release, okay dribble six, decent dunker. At this stage, he's like high B tier. He's objectively worse than a lot of the A tier point guards, and he's not objectively better than Kyrie Irving with clamps, but I like Sleepy. I like Sleepy. And we got Stacey Augman. I mean, he plays defense. Can't shoot to save his life though, so D tier. Like Pau Gasol base, a beyond worthless base. So I can't justify putting him above D. Like, yeah, he plays D, does not play offense. Steven Jackson. I mean, when we're talking badged up, fully badged up Steven Jackson, if you can somehow manage to find one of him on the auction house for an affordable price, badged out Steven Jackson is basically Rudy. He's basically just Rudy. He can curry slide, has a great release, can dunk it a bit, can go by people, plays a bit of defense, is 6'8". He's a really, really nice card when he's fully badged up. So A tier. And to be fair, if you want to argue that he's not here, but Byron Scott in the same tier, I'm not going to argue. Then we got Steve Francis. Steve Francis, A. We got a lot of people on A tier, but he's on that level of like a D'Angelo Russell. He's kind of on that level. Curry slide, decent dunker. You got to badge him out though. Steve Smith. I mean, badged out. He's objectively A because you can get like range, clamps. You can get basically everything, but it's going to cost you a lot to badge him out, so I don't advise you to buy him. I really don't advise you to buy him. Taco Fall. I mean, one tier above Yao because he's slightly better than Yao, I guess. Taco Fall, it's not his year. It's not his year. Thon Maker, A tier, next gen, D tier, current gen. Let me give him C tier. Yeah, he's a quick first step center. Does not play the slides bit of defense. Rebounding, he's been out rebounded a lot anytime I've seen him. And he just doesn't really do much. He's basically like a much worse Embiid. If they gave him range extender or something, or they let him speed boost like they have in previous years, he might be alright, but he can't do either. So he is down here in a C tier. Googs. I'm sorry, Googs, you're going C tier. You're fine. You're fine, but like, are you objectively better than Alfonso Ellis? No. Are you objectively better than Bailey Howell? No. So C tier. Tyler Hero. I mean, badged up Tyler Hero is nice. Give me high B tier. He's like better than, definitely better than Houston. Oh man, Houston doesn't belong. Houston doesn't belong. He's a tier better. He's not 2 tiers better than Ray. He's 1 tier better than Ray. Houston does not belong in B tier, but Tyler Hero does. He definitely does, especially badged up. Then we get Trey Young. If we're talking about cheesing the AI, Trey Young is like A tier. Curry slide, normal fadeaway, good release, gold range, fantastic at what he is. But if you're talking about playing online, I mean, he's like C. C, D. Yeah, let me put him D tier. All right, offensively, he's like a significantly worse D'Angelo Russell. And who's smaller, plays no defense. So yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. This is the tier list. So this is S tier, followed by A tier. Or sorry, this is S tier, followed by A tier, followed by B tier, followed by C tier, D tier, E tier, and worthless tier, comprising of, unfortunate that Karis LeVert's there in worthless tier. That's unfortunate, but he just really doesn't bring anything. At least these guys all bring something. He brings nothing. And then Dr. J is the card that I've hated since 2K19. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.